Hi everyone, welcome back to the Navigate Credit Union Broadcast Center. I'm GoLocal News editor Kate Nagel. Thanks for joining us today for now the second half of the News and Politics show. Speaking of politics, I'd like to welcome in my next guest, Lieutenant Governor Dan McKee. Thanks for joining us today.
Hey, thanks for the invite.
I appreciate it because big news coming out of the Lieutenant Governor's office. You're doing an entrepreneurship challenge for high school seniors, kind of Shark Tankish, trying to give the youth the ability to present their ideas to some experts and maybe get a little boost.
Yeah, so what better way of promoting small business and making us a business-friendly state, right, than to go right to the youngest crew in the state to get them excited about business in the state of Rhode Island. So
it's the Entrepreneurship Challenge, and while we have you here, because I know you've got it written down,
yes,
if folks want to get more information about this, you've got the URL right here.
Can I read it?
You sure can.
Right. It's www.rilgec.com. And if you go to that site, you can get all the information, all the data in terms of this entrepreneurship challenge with the high school that we're starting and we're launching this month. And we're expecting a number of high school students to get involved.
And so this is a program that you kind of gleans the best from around the country. Yes. They've done this before down in Kentucky.
So I was chairman of the National Lieutenant Governors Association last year. And my last meeting, I asked the lieutenant governors to come in and present their best practice that was actually working. And so Lieutenant Governor Hampton from Kentucky laid out this plan. I was so excited that when I got back, I got Andrea Pelagian, who works at our communication, and said, call them up because we want to do that in Rhode Island.
Well, all the information's on that site. We'll provide that link for you as well. But, you know, it's easy when I can lean over and see the cheat sheets a little bit here.
Yes.
You've got a couple of key words on here. I want to talk about the involvement of the credit unions of Rhode Island.
Yeah, just and the Navigating Credit Union is involved in that. So the way it's set up is that we went out and got private sponsorship for the scholarships that we're going to be providing to 5 students in the state of Rhode Island, and the credit unions of Rhode Island are the prime sponsor. And then we needed a nonprofit to partner with in our office that could be the fiduciary for those funds that were donated. And so we're working with Millennial Rhode Island, which is a core group of people who have the hashtag, choose Rhode Island. And so we think that's a great match.
I think it's a fantastic match. And as we talk about this, you know, we see these shows. I'm sure the young folks who are interested are excited to get involved. Who's going to be on the judging panel?
Yeah, so we're going to initially take the major applications, the pool of applications, and zero it down to five individuals. And we'll do that through our Small Business Advocacy Council, which I chair. We had a meeting this morning and laid out it. But what I think is going to be really interesting is we're going to take young millennial business owners in the state of Rhode Island and have them communicate with our youngest entrepreneurs in the state. And we're going to do this, I believe we're going to be doing this at New England Tech sometime in August. And we're going to have a live show that we'll record. And then we're going to have a great interaction between the young millennial business owners in the state of Rhode Island with these prospective business owners in the state of Rhode Island.
Well, this sounds like youth will be served. In what better way when you talk about millennial RI? As they say, choose RI to even get to the next generation, the youngest generation, looking again to stay here in Rhode Island, set up roots in Rhode Island. I'm very excited to see what these ideas are coming forard.
I think they're going to see some things because we've already met some high school entrepreneurs in the state. From doing Rachel's out in Scituate area, doing goat soap, and she's just a young lady that has her own business. We've seen a high school student who's done bow ties. So we're very excited about what we're hearing here, and I think what it really does speak to is, as you just said, we want young people to anchor themselves here in Rhode Island. And what better way than to get out and talk to high school students and match them up with millennial business owners. And we know right now we need to be very strategic about a population growth strategy in the state, and this falls right into what we're working on, because we're going to have 100,000 more people that are going to be in my age group, which is 65 and older, very shortly, and we've got to fill that in the state with young millennial who's a really all in on Rhode Island, and that's what we kind of see here. And we've got to do a number of things to make sure that we attract and keep our very best students, and whether they're visiting here by going to RISD or Brown or URI or Johnson & Wales, but also the people who are currently in, and this contest is for Rhode Island residents, whether they're in a public school, a private school, whether they're homeschooled, or whether they're in a charter school. And we want people who are, already vested in Rhode Island to kind of participate in this.
Fantastic. Tell folks the URL one more time.
Yes, I'm going to read it so I get it right. www.rilgec.com. And of course, you can go right to our Lieutenant Governor's site. We'll have that posted there. We really thank the credit unions of Rhode Island for stepping up and doing this in the initial year. What we found in Kentucky is that this program has grown, and the sponsorship has grown too. So we're actually talking to a couple sponsorships right now, really interested in getting involved in this program. And then Millennial Rhode Island, we think they're going to be a fantastic partner. I was at their meeting in Providence last week. They got 300 plus young people in the state of Rhode Island that are all in on the state of Rhode Island, and we're very excited about this partnership that we're starting.
Okay, Lieutenant Governor's office is all in on the Entrepreneurs Challenge.
Lieutenant Governor's Entrepreneur Challenge.
And we'll have that link up for you again. I made him read it 2 times. I won't make him read it a third, but we will provide that link for you on GoLocalProv.com. Lieutenant Governor McKee, thank you so much for coming in. I'll let you go around the corner and we'll welcome our next guest. Don't go anywhere. Okay, thanks so much.
Thanks.
Hi everyone, welcome back to the Navigant Credit Union Broadcast Center. I'm GoLocal News editor Kate Nagel. Thanks for continuing to join us for the 4 o'clock News and Politics show. As I said, one of the top newsmakers of the day, attorney Peter Picharka, was in court this morning. Now this is pertaining to the challenge to Providence's speed cameras. Tell us what happened.
Well, the judge decided not to issue a temporary restraining order. However, in his discussion, preliminary discussion, he found his feeling is that the summonses or the citations were defective. So we feel it's a win. That's what we've been saying. And now he's ordered us to mediation to try to get a settlement.
Okay, so no restraining order, but as you said, getting that indication from the judge that these are defective. Talk with us about what you heard as the rationale for the defectiveness of the summons.
The judge indicated that one of the most important parts was the fact that the insurance, the summons couldn't affect your insurance, and in fact that's false.
Move you a little closer over here.
Also the 4 points of the citation were just incorrect.
So what now? You talk about going to mediation. I mean, what's your strategy going into this?
The strategy is to try to get the people who paid the tickets paid back.
Okay.
That's the settlement strategy. Also, the judge ordered us to look at the statute or the summons and attempt to rewrite it or have the city rewrite it.
So you're basically doing city business.
Correct. It's kind of a private ACLU right now.
You're a private ACLU. I mean, are these the laws of unintended consequences? Was this program just rolled out so quickly that they didn't think through the minutia, but they're important?
I think that they did not read the law and match it with the citation. Yes, I think that's what happened. They just sent it the wrong way.
So going to mediation, as you said, looking at it, giving the suggestions about how it should be written, but also making sure that the people who had already paid get paid back. How much money are we talking? How many people?
We're talking around 20,000 tickets. We don't believe that all 20,000 are going to be entitled to any type of relief.
Okay.
Some of them that haven't paid may be able to get a new court date under a revised summons.
Okay.
The ones that have paid, our contention is, not the city, our contention is plaintiffs, that they need to be paid back something. And that's what we're discussing.
So do we have a sense of time frame, how long this is going to take to sort of hammer out with the city, with the courts?
It's going to move very rapidly.
And is it just the sense of urgency surrounding the program? Because it pretty much affects all Providence residents and all drivers.
It involves everyone in the state. I think the city knows that there are things they need to fix, and they're looking to fix it so they can roll out this program properly without this air of disgust around it, I guess.
And I mean, what's your sense when you hear from people and you've heard of the suit? What happens now when you tighten up the program and it's actually legally viable? Is that sort of going to be when the city and you talk with folks saying, well, here we now have a program that maybe should have been in place in the first place?
Well, I think that if they rolled it out the proper way, and for example, the signs that they use are supposed to actually be 1,375 feet away from a school zone.
Okay.
So if they actually gave a person an ability to slow down, I think it would work. And also, kudos to the city. The city indicated today that the amount of violations were going down. However, that doesn't alleviate the fact that you're using an illegal citation to rake in all this money. And that's really what we're talking about.
And so let's talk a little bit about what, again, you mentioned the issues that the judge had with why the summons were not in compliance. So explain, what's now the ideal program going to look like?
The city needs to rewrite the citation to match the law that was written. So not to get technical, but they need to identify that it's a speeding violation or whatever type of violation it is. Right now, they don't identify that. They need to take away the part that says it doesn't affect your insurance rates, because in the law it says after adjudication, it may. They just need to be open, honest, and give someone proper notice. And the issue, one of the bigger issues is, if you don't think it affects your insurance rates, you may pay the ticket. And in fact, it may, and you may have decided to fight it had you thought it affected your insurance rates.
Again, all these laws of unintended consequences. And when you originally had approached with this legal challenge, and you, again, had this cohort of folks who already had tickets, what was the reaction you had gotten from folks that you were stepping up to the plate and taking this to court?
They were ecstatic and they were ticked. They're ticked at the city. It's a good program. It needed more notice. It needs proper notice with the signs where the cameras are, and I think people will abide by them. But the way they do it now, you could say, and I don't believe they wanted it to be, but you could say it was a money grab.
Well, we'll see what happens moving forward. The city has said safety. We've seen all the folks turn out to court. We've seen now you in court today. And you talk about going to mediation. You talk about it happening rapidly. You know, when's the next time you'll be sort of sitting down at the table around this?
We've already entered into settlement discussions. I think that within probably the next 60 days, you'll hear of something happening, or it might even be over.
Okay, well, we're going to continue to keep an eye on this. I don't think there's anyone here, either Providence or the state, that hasn't heard about the speed camera program, the controversy surrounding it. But again, with your being in court today, looking to see what happens moving forward, it's now in mediation. Anything else folks should know while we have you in here, Peter?
No.
Know where the speed cameras are and drive the speed limit?
There you go. There you go.
But then wait a minute, what would Peter do?
That's right.
I appreciate your taking the time to come in. Again, this is such a big issue that folks have been keeping an eye on. Being in court today, getting the skinny from you as to what took place, we're going to continue to report on it here. But Peter Petrarca, I appreciate your taking the time to come into GoLocal Live. I'll let you go around the corner. Okay, thanks so much. Peter Petrarca, I appreciate him coming in today. That just about wraps up another day here in the Navigant Credit Union Broadcast Center. We'll be back tomorrow at 3 o'clock with The Taste, 4 o'clock news and politics. Wishing everyone a good Tuesday evening. Thanks for watching. Thanks for your feedback. I'm GoLocal News Editor Kate Nagel.